Confiteor comes from the Latin, I confess. This work is based on a confession box and also partly an interrogation room. And those two things have a lot of similarities. They're architectural space, which is designed to take information, but one is freely given and one is drawn out of you. So in architectural terms, they're quite similar. When I started looking at the space, I mean, you've got this really extraordinary kind of blood beach, which has this enormous kind of high verticality. So I started looking at kind of very tall, thin, sort of Gothic shapes in a way. And obviously the work's on a turning mechanism. So it's built on it's an oil-infused bronze bearing, so it turns very easily. I mean, a child can push it with one hand. So what I wanted to deal with was something that was kind of monumental, but had elements that broke from monumentality. So generally the idea of monumentality is this kind of plinth with this static form on top. So we've got a kind of sense of a plinth, but the whole thing moves, so it kind of breaks that idea. And then there are a fair few kind of Japanese references within here and within the garden. And the wood that this is made from uses initially a Japanese technique called sashugiban, which is you burn the wood and you char it and then you scrape it back. And then normally that's what you leave that's the finished product. But what we've done beyond that is carved by hand you carve into the grain by hand every single part of the grain. For me, the things that work outdoors are things that have, on some level, a sense of integration. They look like they've kind of always been here, or they look in some way as though they kind of fit very neatly, but they also kind of imbue some sense of wonder. And it's that kind of duality. If you can bring those two things into a piece of work that sits in a kind of public domain or sits outside, then generally it works. So that's one of the main criteria that I use for judging, whether something works or not.